So yeah, what am I saying actually in this lengthy deliverance I gave here is that for some people it is useful to know these few or many things about an aspect of their body and personality function. So it's nice to have this information, but it's not the only information and the deciding information about how you are, how you can live your life, and how is the only way. It's not really that there is such a distinction about this kind of distinction about this person is living his not self and this person is living his self, okay? It's too rigid to think that way, and it's a big distortion that I think this system has, and it has it structurally because the way Ra Uruhu, its creator and bringer of the system, put it in there. He put that self, not self distinction inside, and I think it is problematic. And I hope what I said explains why I see it as such a problematic distinction, the way it is used and the way he brought it in. Because if I tell you, let's say I tell you, you have some gland. It's the metaphor I used before in the previous video. So let's say I tell you you have some gland in your body, and this is the way it functions in your body. This is the hormones it releases. This is the way a malfunction in this gland can influence you, and I give you even a few ways of behaving that will benefit the function of this gland. And I give you all this information. And let's say you didn't know before about the existence of this aspect of your physical makeup. And I'm sorry. And then you have this information, and being this gland not functioning very very good in your body at this time, when you change your behavior, the physical state, your health improves. And you even may misuse the information I gave you and overdo what I told you to do to benefit, and maybe even you do exactly what I told you to do to benefit this gland, but the behavior that you have, maybe, I don't know how many glands we have, hormonal glands, maybe 5 or 7 in the body. I remember this number. And maybe the behavior I gave you for this gland, in some way, I don't know why, it's not suitable to another gland in your body that is also not in such a good shape. And what I told you to do for this gland is disturbing for the other gland. So your health still deteriorates because your overall state is not so great, in spite of you adhering to my advice, because you already were in a not so good shape, and whatever you do to help some aspect of your situation is troubling for another aspect of your situation, which is also not so great. So it's not a good scenario, okay? So but let's say it did maybe help your health, and the question is that I'm putting here is, before you knew about the existence of glands or this gland and its function in your body and the way it influences you and the way you can adjust your behavior to adjust the health of this gland, were you in a not self behavior? Did you not be yourself? No. You just behaved in a way that was unaware of this aspect of your existence, unaware of the beneficial behavior you might do for your health. And this knowledge of this glandular structure is just helping you to align to a more healthy behavior in your life. But it's not that people who don't know about their glands are not acting as themselves. Some of them are just doing it intuitively and just living a healthy life, and some of them are not doing it intuitively, but still they are in a good shape for some reason. And some people don't know, and they are having trouble, and they are better off knowing maybe this information so they can realign their health. In a similar way, I'm gonna bring water because it's not pleasant to listen to my voice like this. I hope it helped somehow, not sure. In a similar way, what I'm saying is the fact that you have certain channels defined in your chart, and those channels imply some kind of talent or function or energetic makeup, tendency. It doesn't mean that you have to live it. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it. Sometimes doing something about it brings about other problems because it's not a natural or organic movement. And this is part of what strategy and authority, as part of this experiment, is supposed to prevent. Acting on your channels and definitions in your chart in head-driven way, and which will be not organic, and introduce to your whole system something that is not natural and cannot integrate easily into your life. And that is why strategy and authority is a very positive and beneficial aspect of the knowledge Ra brought. But it's not like some people coming to this system make of it as if it is the truth, the all-knowing truth, and now that they know this system, because Ra had a very decisive personality and delivery, they take on this decisiveness and certainty, and they also deliver the information in the same way. And this is like some doctor coming online and telling everybody, listen, you didn't know about this glands. Nobody knew about these glands before. And now that I know about this aspect of the human body, not only everything changes, but everything that anyone knew before is cancelled and is not self, and you're not living the right way, and this is the only way to live, and now I will tell you how to live on the basis of this new information that I discovered. What I'm saying is, the healthiest way to see the structure that human design is offering about the energetic makeup of a human, if it's true, if there's truth to it, empirical truth, which I don't know if it will ever be thoroughly looked into, because it's very hard to prove, but if it has truth to it, it's a certain aspect of our makeup. That's all. And sometimes to know something about your makeup is beneficial to you. Sometimes very much so. Okay, for you it will be the case. Sometimes it's damaging to you to know something about your makeup. That also can happen. And sometimes, because we're dealing here with very subtle things of psychology and inward, our personality and how we interact in this world. So sometimes just hearing a kind of verification from a system to something that we never consciously acknowledged in ourselves, and never gave permission to ourselves to have this behavior or have these kind of feelings or emotions or thoughts, and we hear it from an outside source like the human design system, which has very brilliant definitions and descriptions of human behavior, and we hear it about ourselves. Some kind of definition like, you have a channel that just energetically takes you to thoughts and behaviors that tend to correct your environment. When you look at your environment, I'm talking about the 1858 channel. When you look at your environment, you tend to see what is not wrong, what is not logical, what is not functioning well, and you have a drive to communicate this thing to people, and it comes from a place of wanting to benefit the environment. But people sometimes see this kind of behavior as bitchy or disturbing or annoying. So for someone, maybe this description really can come and benefit them. All of a sudden they have a definition for something that they felt their whole life, and they can do something with it, they can observe it, they can feel better about this aspect of themselves, and they can release their doubt about if this kind of behavior or this kind of feelings and thoughts, are they okay? And this is a service that the human design information sometimes make for us, and it's so colorful, it has so many definitions for each chart that you're bound to find something that you relate with. It's just I think impossible to not relate to something in those definitions. And that is why people that deliver the information to other people, they find that they get good feedback about the service they provide. And that plays very much sometimes can play to a person's ego about, I know what it's all about, what life is all about, because there's so many wise definitions that can really, people can find themselves inside those definitions, because human design is so wide and so wise. And it can help a person release some of their inhibitions about their own natural being and behaving in this life. And maybe there is truth to this information, but it's a long jump. It's a long way to go from getting some verification and permission to be certain aspects and accept some aspects of your behavior and become more aware of your tendency. It's a big jump from this to the place of Now I know how I should be. If I'm not this, I'm not myself. And I'm doing something wrong. And everybody should know about this, because this is the way to be. And I just see it as an aspect of human existence and not as the whole picture. The way that if you know a certain system in the body, like the nervous system, and the way it functions and what benefits it and what disturbs it, does not mean that you know everything there is to know about the human body or system or existence. But sometimes it is beneficial to know about the nervous system, and sometimes it is beneficial to grab a hold of the human design system and the way it exhibits the energetic makeup of a person. And strategy and authority, I think, is Ra's attempt to have the doctor orders for your malfunctioning when it is present. The same way that doctor that deals with the glandular system, which causes many problems in our health when it malfunctions, may have some recommendations for you. So Ra's recommendation is strategy and authority, and going through a deconditioning process. It can be seen like that. It's like someone who tells you that some Ayurvedic doctor or something that tells you you have many systems malfunctioning in your body, so you have to fast. You have to fast because fasting is a way to recalibrate, let the body recalibrate itself. Okay, so it's probably true, and also you might have implication of this fasting that did not benefit you. If you're too far along, if your health is too disturbed already, maybe the doctor is just, this advisor is just wrong. Maybe, but many people do benefit from fasting, right? So you can't argue with that, because some people do benefit from it, because when you fast, you stop a lot of things that in your behavior that may have caused problems. In the same way, when you do strategy and authority, you stop a lot of behavior that may have caused problems in your life. And when you stop initiating so much activity in your life, it brings about kind of detoxification in your system, in your interaction. You have a chance to be more of, because you take it a step back, you have a chance to be more the observer of your life and less be less the initiator, and that is the second aspect that I wanted to talk about, that you meet in the human design field, which is the actual strategy and authority part of the experiment. And I'll talk about it in the next video, because this one is going to end. See you.